What is up, YouTube and all my fish keeping friends? How is everybody doing out there in fish tank land? Today we are going to make 3 nano aquarium slash riparium vases. Don't go anywhere. This vase, actually, this used to be my lucky tip jar when I was a pizza chef in a fine dining restaurant. I used to put fresh flowers and a little fake electronic candle in there and spice it with a couple of bills. It was my tip jar at night, you know, so it's got a lot of history for me, but it's gonna be a really nice little aquascape now. I also have these 2 other vases. This one I think came from a wedding. It was a centerpiece for a wedding. This one, I used to keep all my bills in here, and I throw my my rent money in here, and it was on my desk at one point. It could also be a nice little scape for your desktop at work. So I want to share with you guys just how simple it is to make a little aquascape in a vase with a couple of things from your local pet store, or if you're an aquarist like me, you can just pull some trimmings out of some of your tanks. And like I said before, this makes a nice little gift, perfect little centerpiece. But let's go ahead and dive right into all of the materials and things we're gonna need to make this happen. So here we are, we have the 3 vases. I've got some hardscape, which I've collected, just some stuff that I have had stashed away. But I have my hardscape here. I have some different pieces of driftwood. I have a piece of Mapani driftwood. I have a couple of other pieces of local driftwood that I collected off the beaches here. Now all of these pieces of wood need to be boiled for at least like an hour, hour and a half, just to kind of sterilize them, just to reduce any chances of water funguses that could come up in these vases. Today we're going to be working with a mixture of 2 substrates. First of all, I'm going to be using fluval stratum, which is a really nice active buffered substrate, can lower the pH a little bit. This one is going to be one of my favorites to work with. This is the Carib Sea Eco Complete. This is a really nice substrate as well. It comes in liquid, actually, that has different beneficial bacteria actually added to the substrate to help with the cycling process. I really do like the mixture of these 2 substrates, especially for the price. The only other thing that I would do if you really want to take this up another notch is to cap the whole thing with a nice little layer of sand. Carib Sea makes a really nice couple of different kinds of sand that would work well for that if you really want to go one step above. So I do have some rocks that I collected from around the fish room. They're gonna do the job. They're not what I would necessarily prefer, but I'm sure I'll be able to work with what I got here. The light that I'm using is just a basic shop light, just a drop light from the hardware store. I painted it black so that it looks a little bit nicer. I'm using an LED bulb right now. That just blinded me. You could use whatever you want. You could get really high tech with the lighting. You could probably use an office desk lamp, would probably work as well. Let's get into the plants that I've collected for these 3 vases. I pulled from 3 of my tanks. I pulled some plants from my plant quarantine tank. I also took some trimmings out of this really nice aquascape tank down here at the bottom. And then I also pulled some immersed grown plants, some emergent growth in my paludarium here. So I have quite the collection of plants here in this bucket. I have some subwassertang. I have a couple of different kinds of hygrophila. This is the hygrophila species spider. I have the hygrophila angustifolia, which is my favorite right here. I have some Rotula indica, which came out of this tank here. I also have some dwarf chainsword, as well as some microsword. I got a couple of microswords that'll go in there, as well as some really nice crypts, some little baby crypt Wendettae. So we're gonna go ahead and get these all going. Go ahead and start with my favorite vase here, the one that has personal sentimental value. I'm gonna get these out of the way for the moment. So I want to go ahead and take this one, and I want to show you the process that I'm going to go through to scape and plant all 3 of these vases. Of course, the first thing that we're going to start with is the substrate. Like I said before, this is a 50-50 fluval stratum and eco-complete substrate. I'm just going to pour it in here, honestly. It's pretty simple. I'm going to give it about 2 inches. So the hardscape could just be all one level plane, but that would be boring, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and slope this just like you would in an aquarium. Just give it a little bit of a slope. So I'm totally sold on this rock. I think just this one rock is gonna do it. I have these 2 pieces of driftwood, which I picked out for this vase. I'm gonna kind of put them in here, something like that. I don't know. We're gonna play around with it and see what works. So I guess that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm feeling comfortable with it. It's interesting, it's different. You can look at it from different angles as well. Still taking up a lot of real estate with hardscape and driftwood, but let's get some plants in here. So I'm gonna just pour a little bit of water in here. I'm pouring it over the hardscape, over the rock and the driftwood, so I don't disturb the substrate too much. And I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of water just to wet this in the back a little bit, maybe just a little bit in the back, but I really want to wait until the water level gets right to about the top of the substrate, right about where it's at now. And now we can start adding plants. So I want to go ahead and put a plant back here in the background, and I've decided on Rotella indica. I have a few cuttings of that, and I'm going to put it right here in the back of the scape, right behind the driftwood. So I have this nice baby crypt wendeti. Another really nice plant that is small and works well is the hydrocotyle Japanese, or I guess some people call it pennywort, but hydrocotyle Japanese. I'm going to put a little bit of it down in the front and have it running up the side, just the way it is here. This is actually a rare Hygrophilus species tiger, and this is a little cutting that I've propagated, and it's got plenty of roots on it. I'm going to go ahead and add this on the left-hand side of this scape. This is another one of my favorite aquarium plants. You probably won't recognize it right now because this is immersed growth. This is actually Sturgeon ripens, or some people call Sturgeon ripens. But this is actually what it looks like when it's growing in my paludarium. I could add more plants to this, but these plants are gonna grow in and it's gonna look good in time. So I'm not trying to push it or rush it. Let's go ahead and add some water to this and get it filled up and see what it looks like. I think you guys kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. I'm going to get these other 2 vases scaped and get them all set up underneath the light. I'm going to take a look at all of them in their glory.
Perfect.
These vases are looking good. I'm not going to tell you what time in the morning it is, but I got all 3 of them done. The water's a little cloudy right now. You know, there's some sediment from the substrate. Everything needs to settle. So we're going to go ahead and fast forward to tomorrow and take a look at these scapes. I hope you guys enjoyed these nano aquarium, riparium, vase, aquascapes, whatever you want to call them. I think they make really cool gifts for Christmas, maybe centerpieces for dinner tables, wedding receptions, just to put on your desktop at work. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoy all of my content. If you're not subscribed to this content, you like it, you want to see more of it, go ahead and click on that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the bell icon for all notifications. And remember guys, keep your tanks clean, your fish fed, and have fun.